Well, wow. Hello, everybody. I hope you enjoyed my exciting little video. And what we're doing here today is I'm so excited because we are bringing back the Championship Formula podcast that I had started pre-pandemic. And this podcast, although it's going to do all kinds of fun stuff, it's going to be a health-driven, optimized wellness, optimized, human type podcast. We're going to talk to respected leaders across any industry, any and all industries. We're going to talk about TKO Vitality, my new company. I started a telemed company that for the past about year now, we've been focusing on what's so important to this country, in my opinion, which is making America healthy again. Before we jump into that, I just want to give you guys a little background. So, first and foremost, I'm Joey Gilbert. I am the host of the Championship Formula podcast, obviously. And I did something about a year and a half ago, almost, it'll be 2 years come October, is after, working with America's Frontline Doctors and after doing all that insane fighting against tyranny during the pandemic. And I'll just let you know right now, some audiences, you might not like what I do on here. You might not like me as a person because of who I am and what I stand for. But you should know this. I stand for the truth. I stand for fighting for what's right. I stand for doing your best and doing what's best for you and your family. And after going through what I will always label the pandemic for as long as I live and all the nonsense that occurred during then, I believe that we as Americans need to take our country back, take our healthcare back, take back our just determination to live that life, to be the best we can. And so one of the things I did with the Championship Formula when I first started is we were bringing on real estate folks and business leaders and people in different tech areas. And then the shit hit the fan, and the pandemic made everybody do things differently. I refused to wear a mask, so I couldn't even go in the studio we were recording at. I didn't have things set up yet at home. And that was to come. If you guys remember that, it wasn't until March or April of 2020, probably more like in May, when I really started hammering things and came out just slugging against the complete insanity that we were facing. And then I did some things. I worked with America's Frontline Doctors. I got to see how telemed could work and how I thought that you could bring this kind of information, these kind of resources to people at their home via the technology we have. And what was funny is before the pandemic, it was everybody wanted to be in the office for a meeting. If you wanted to come meet with your attorney, me being a lawyer, everyone wanted to come in the office. They wanted a face-to-face meeting. Now, I can't get anybody to come to the office. They want to do a Zoom. They want to do a FaceTime call. They want to do anything besides have to come into the office. Same thing in some of the courts. You still have courts using Zoom, which makes it super easy for out-of-state travelers, people that get in trouble, passing through Nevada, Las Vegas, Reno, shocking. And so they want to be able to handle their stuff via Zoom call. So based on those implications during the nonsense of 2020, I kind of thought to myself, well, heck, if we're moving so much of our everyday business to a tech platform, why can't I do something similar? And hey, anyone that's ever met me knows I am big on fitness. I am big on doing what you need to do to be your very best. That's what the Championship Formula is. And that's what we'll be talking about, consistently on this platform. But it's also about what can we do to make us healthier? What can we do as citizens and as everyday folks, moms and dads, boyfriends, girlfriends, bosses, colleagues, teachers, anybody. I don't care what you do or how you do it. This platform will have answers and information for you. So a little bit of the background of what's going to take place is, so as I mentioned, the Championship Formula podcast is going to be really dedicated to health and wellness, optimized wellness, which we'll get into. Trust me, I have a platform. I have a solution for that. I have a guy, like I always used to say, I have a guy. But nothing has ever changed for me since I was a professional athlete. Those of you that don't know a little bit about my story, you'll learn. I was a former boxing champion. I had a regional belt. I had the WBO, NABO belt, and I had the WBC, USNBC belt. Was ranked as high as number 3 in the world by the WBO and number 7 in the world by the WBC. And so how I got there in life, boxing, starting boxing at 19, was through hard work and dedication. Money Mayweather all day, every day, right? Hard work and dedication. But obviously, I had to learn a lot too, and we learned by trial and error. And so one of the things that I always took great pride in was my conditioning, was my diet, was my, well-being and my fitness. And I've been pretty successful at that. I actually, wrote a book called The Championship Form with Joey Gilbert. I've gone on to do some pretty amazing things in life, from stints in obviously was in the Air Force, was a boxer, went to law school, started a few companies, have a few things in the, a few irons in the fire. But what I am absolutely most passionate about, bar none, is helping people become their very best. And we are a nation right now that is just plagued. We are the unhealthiest, sickest, most obese nation on the planet, right? So when you take all that into account and you think, per capita and the size of this country, GDP, we should not be the sickest. We should not be the unhealthiest. We should not be the most overweight. And it's not even overweight anymore. You'll see the lines. We're going to be putting graphs up and having some exciting talks in the future, but you'll see that the overweight line is now being taken over by obese. Obesity is an epidemic in this country. And one of the things we're going to talk about on this podcast is, here's the best part, and maybe it's not the best part, but it's not your fault, right? A lot of people out there, overweight, unhealthy, sick, can't seem to get back into shape, can't get those 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds off. And they've been trying for years. Some folks have been trying for a decade. Well, one of the things we're going to talk about here on the Championship Formula, powered by TKO Vitality, is that it isn't your fault. Now, I know that what some people are probably thinking right now, hey, Joe, yeah, I see people out there, they eat like crap, they don't work out, they're lazy. And yes, our sedentary lifestyle now is a problem. Our ability to get whatever we want at our fingertips, whether it's DoorDash or whether it's send someone or have something brought to us, is definitely part of the problem. But I would have to say, overwhelmingly, the problem is the toxins in our food, the chemicals in our food, the garbage in our water, and that's what's really hurting people. At the end of the day, when you think about what, anybody turn on a TV, what is the most prevalent marketing you're going to see all day long, every day? Pharmaceutical companies. Well, back in the United States, back in the 80s, we switched from, healthcare to sick care. And what that means is there's no longer a benefit for folks, to try and get healthy. When I say benefit for those that obviously prosper or profit from sickness. And that's our everyday, companies. If you look at what Pfizer and some of these companies are doing and where they're making their money, it is overwhelmingly on all the most, prevalent, the most, notorious conditions we see across America, right? And that is largely driven by diet, by foods, by chemicals, by toxins, by the stuff that's in the water. And so my heart breaks for the folks that I've seen for years trying to get this weight off, that I've seen for literally decades that haven't moved the needle one bit. And so, one of the things we're going to constantly talk about here on the Championship Formula podcast, which is powered by TKO Vitality, and I'll explain more about what TKO Vitality is here in a second, is we're going to be talking about the hacks, the cuts, the things you can do, the dad hacks, the mom hacks, the brother hacks, the sister hacks, what you can do as a person to get that optimized wellness integrated back in your life and how you do it. And as I said a moment ago, when I say it's not your fault, I truly, truly mean that. What people don't understand is that once you get in a hole, once you've put on that 15, 20, 30 pounds, the chances of you getting that off yourself are slim to none. All right. And this is coming from someone who spent his life, not just as a professional athlete until 2011, but then staying in shape from that time. And let me tell you something, every day is a fight, right? The chemicals in the food, the sedentary lifestyle, the going a million miles an hour, juggling 10 things. You just don't have the wherewithal to be able to fight back against the system. And what I mean by that is all these things that are hurting your vitality, that are slowing you down. Okay. So for example, as I mentioned a moment ago, you put on this weight and you work like hell to get it off. You try diets, you try cardio, you try working out, and nothing's happening. And that's because the actual statistics behind getting that weight off are not pretty. And so what is TKO Vitality? Let's get into why I have the championship formula back and why I'm telling you it's powered by TKO Vitality. Now, right off the cusp, and for some of you out there watching, some of you know me, are thinking right away, I know what it is. TKO is boxing, right? And a TKO is a technical knockout in boxing. But what I did with this is it's actually much more. It's a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson about to know oneself. TKO actually stands for to know oneself, health and wellness. And for me, what to know oneself means to me is to know your body, to be able to understand your body, and to be able to deliver to your body what you need to reach those peak or optimum levels. And the truth be told, you're not going to be able to hit those optimum levels without a little help. Now, I understand that there's folks out there, the David Goggins and some guys that, that have no problem. They're disciplined, their mindset. But when you're juggling kids and a busy job and a family and all the extracurricular activities, sports, and trying to get it to the gym yourself and make it to the grocery store, I am a single father. All right. I've been doing this on my own since 2019. And let me tell you something. My days have never been more packed in my entire life. I thought I was busy as a professional fighter. I thought I was busy as a full-time, employer. No, let me tell you something. Having a daughter that's in sports, that's, a go-getter, that's trying to push her limits is a whole different realm. And for those dads out there and those moms out there that know what I'm talking about, I take a lot of heat from friends and from people that I meet, especially if I'm trying to spend time with a friend or with someone else, because I truly don't know what I'm doing. I got a 15-year-old. She's able to drive right now, but before she got her car, I would tell people, I don't know what I'm doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, because if I get a phone call at 3 p.m., 6 p.m., 8 p.m., Dad, my plans just changed. And everybody on here with kids knows exactly what I'm talking about. How many times have you had plans to go meet some friends with dinner or meet a homie at the gym or meet a friend for a glass of wine? I don't drink, but you know what I'm talking about. And then as you're on your way or walking out the door or wherever, maybe pulling up, you get that call, Dad, what are we doing? Where are we going? Right back out the door. So this podcast is driven towards those busy, productive individuals that just want to have results and want more. And so, as I said at the top of the show, what I was describing is it was a telemed platform that I came up with the idea of with some friends of, well, hey, you know what? Improving people's, lifestyle, improving people's wellness, their health and wellness. What do we need to do? And you guys are seeing this explosion across social media. You're seeing the Gary Breckas out there. You're seeing the Ultimate Human podcast. You see Tony Robbins talking about this stuff, optimizing hormones. You can't scroll through Instagram these days. And now that you've watched this and you talk about it, when we bring up testosterone and peptides and tirzepatide and weight loss shots, you already know what's going to happen. AI and IG and Meta and everybody, they're going to start blasting you with this stuff all day now. As soon as you start noticing, interacting with this content, get ready. You're going to get bombarded with it from this point forward. So you're going to see all what I'm talking about. And what's important to me is that I wanted to find a way to impact everyday Americans. And again, you guys already know where I stand, my political, beliefs. But when RFK got in the mix and we started talking about MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, I was all on board, man. I was 100% pedal to the metal. Let's effing go. Why? Because I'm out in the world every day. I have never seen such sick, such overweight, such lazy, such, unhappy people and children in my entire life. I've been speaking in the grade schools, middle schools, and high schools since I was a college boxer back in, long time ago. And I could tell you the excitement, the determination, the productivity, all those things have changed drastically. All right. These kids just don't seem too fired up anymore. They're not waiting to get off school so they can tear off on their bikes and run with their friends till the streetlights come on. No, they want to park it and play on their phones. They want to jump and start gaming. They want to just, and again, Hey, guilty as charged. Do I sit on Reels? Am I scamming through Reels at night for a couple hours? Probably. If my work's done, if I'm sitting in my sauna, I probably should be reading. I should probably be listening to one of the 15 different audiobooks I've downloaded. But there's probably 90% chance I'm on Instagram, laughing, teasing, sending memes to friends. So I only bring this stuff up because this is real, right? This is real stuff. This is what's happening every day in this country. And so when I signed in and signed on to be a part of Make America Healthy Again, my first question is, how can I have the most impact? What can I do, right? And so I've always, a little bit of some background here, I've always been a guy, and we're going to talk about of when I started using, replacement therapy for certain products. But I met Sylvester Stallone in 2004 on a little show called The Contender. And for those of you that know my background, I was able to get close with Sly. I ended up representing as a spokesperson his nutritional company, InStone, which was a blast. I went and did 3 USO tours to Iraq and Afghanistan. I did trade shows in Tokyo, trade shows in the UK. But the probably most important impact for me was just talking with Sylvester Stallone. And I kid you not, I've said this before. This man said to me in 2004, and I quote, "Joey, aging is a disease and it can be fought like anything else. The problem is in America, we don't have health care. We have sick care. Mark my words, in 20 years, everyone will be optimizing their hormones." He said this to me. He goes, "Listen to me. 20 years from now, folks will be testing their blood and optimizing their hormones, their minerals, their blood work, for lack of terms. You'll be looking at your labs and you'll be making adjustments." And I'm not kidding you. It was 20 years to the day when we all started seeing, go back a year ago, all the stuff rolling on Instagram, Facebook, all day, every day, from Zepbound and Mounjaro to testosterone, replacement, to peptides now we see every day. You name it, it's on there, right? It was 20 years to the day. And for those of you that don't know Sylvester Stallone, I've only seen him in the movies, he's one of the smartest cats I've ever met, most well-rounded, most down-to-earth, one of the nicest guys I've ever had, any pleasure of being around. And he knows his stuff. Now, one thing Sly showed me in his den, in his little office house, he lived in Beverly Hills or near the canyon. And in his den, he had all these books, all these binders, little 3-ring binders up on shelves. And he said, when he said to me, "You'll see 20 years from now, everyone's going to be checking their hormones." And he went like this, reached up, grabbed a notebook down, opened it up, went to 1983, and showed me his blood work. Went to 1990, showed me his blood work. He said to me, "Hey, remember when I put on all that weight for Copland?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Check this out." Pulls it down, showed me what he was doing, what he did afterwards, what he did to get back in shape. I was blown away. This was 2004. Now, I'm a pretty impressionable young man at this time. And I remember also saying to Sly at that time, "Hey, Sly, how do you do it? How do you stay in this kind of shape?" And for those of you that are still paying attention to Mr. Stallone, you go look at him today. He's more ripped than me and any of the guys I know at like 76, right? And he said, "You know what, Joey?" And I'm going to have to cuss. So for those moms out there, and if Leslie's listening, earmuffs. I said, "Sly, how do you do it?" He said, "Joey, you really want to know how?" I said, "Yeah." And he's got me hanging at the end. We're actually on a plane at this time. Won't even get into all this. He says, "You really want to know how?" I said, "Yeah, I want to know how." He goes, "Whatever the fuck it takes." And now listen, I understand the bravado and the toughness. And, again, we don't want the, toxic masculinity folks in here to freak out. But when he said that, I kind of I took for a second, yeah, whatever it takes. He didn't mean anything other than he was going to do whatever he needed to do in a 24-hour period to get it in. And that revolutionized things for me. I remember him saying, there is no excuse for you to say you can't get in your 30-minute workout or 30 minutes of cardio every day. You got 24 hours. Don't pay attention to a clock. Go off a 24-hour clock. It shouldn't be 6 p.m. It's too late. 5 a.m. It's too early. Do it when you can. The other thing I took from him, he had that binder with all his blood work. So in 2005 was the first time I came back from Hollywood and went to my dad's office, and Sly had given me a lab slip or showed me what kind of tests he was doing. And I remember I went to my primary care doctor and I said, "Hey, I need to get some labs." And he said, "Let me see it." And he looked at it. He said, "What the hell is this?" What do you think? You got cancer? What is all this shit? And anybody that's paid attention to today's healthcare would know most doctors are complete idiots. I'm sorry. I said it. I've been saying it since 2020 because that's when a bunch of us were woken up by what doctors really did and did not do. Most of them don't even have basic training in nutrition. They don't know squat, right? What they know how to do is write a little prescription on a pad that benefits them in big pharma and out the door. There's no true wellness care. There's definitely not optimized wellness. And I'll get into some of the stuff we'll talk about. People that do go get their labs done, bring it to their primary doctor. He says, "Oh, you're fine. Your testosterone's 250. You're good." Yeah, 250. We'll get into all that. But taking this piece out of Sly's playbook, I go get my labs. I start looking at stuff. I notice early on, as early as 2005 and 6, that I had low testosterone, which got me into a little bit of trouble later in life, about 2007, 2008, because I was taking every testosterone product you could buy over the counter. You guys remember GNC, the lockbox, right? So I'd be in there staring through, ooh, look at that. Testosterone muscle enhancer. I'd buy all that stuff. Little did I know that there were certain things in there that later would get me in a little bit of trouble, but that's not for today. Again, my point is that from an early age, thanks to Mr. Sylvester Stallone, I was exposed to the fact that in America, we really don't have health care. We have sick care. And what does that mean? They wait till you get sick to do anything, right? So what does TKO Vitality stand for? It stands to know oneself, health, and wellness. And to know oneself and be able to make decisions based on where you are, you have to understand where your body's at. That's where we come into getting labs, getting a holistic picture of what you look like and what you're deficient in, and then addressing those on a case-by-case basis. This is not a one-size-fits-all by any means. And I would encourage anybody listening to this podcast right now that has experienced anything in life that's made them question their vitality, your energy level, your cognition, mental cognition, sexual cognition, sexual function, okay? Depression, anxiety, like I already said, energy levels, strength, putting on lean muscle, losing lean muscle, the chubbiness around your gut, all right? And in the areas where, fat deposits. If you have not been successful or have been having questions or have questions right now about your health, I would encourage you to get on the TKO platform, book a call. Let's get your labs done. Let's have you talk to a doctor, and let's start optimizing your wellness to bring you into a true, optimized vitality, optimized wellness footprint. Right? And what does that sound like? What does it look like? It's very simple, guys. Like I told you, Sly pulls the binder off the shelf, shows me his blood work. And since that day, I've always been cognizant of keeping my levels at optimized levels. And I've noticed an incredible difference from the very first time I started back in 2011. So before we get into a little more, I just want you to give you guys the full picture of what TKO Vitality is. It's a telemed platform that has been built for you. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Anytime anybody connects with the TKO platform, you're going to hear back from a client representative who's going to speak to you, find out what you're looking for, get you in the pipeline, get you to talk to a doctor, all on Zoom. You don't have to leave your house. You don't have to leave your car. You got a smartphone, put that sucker on the steering wheel outside, wherever you're at home, and do your call. You'll talk to a doctor. You'll get labs. You'll go through those labs, and we'll be able to say, Mr. Smith, you're deficient here. Mr. Smith, your testosterone's this. Mr. Smith, your BMI. And again, BMI is kind of bullshit because, at 202 pounds, 5'11", it lists me as obese. That's what it says. So we don't play much with BMI, body mass index. I'm just merely telling you that based on your labs, to knowing oneself, we're going to be able to custom tailor a health and wellness plan for you that it's going to deliver the most important thing, I believe, optimized wellness and vitality, which is what all of us want. As we get older, what becomes the most precious commodity? The most precious commodity? Time and our health. And if you're not doing things to dial in your health, to make sure that you're the very best you can be, if you're a father, a mother, a boss, a colleague, boyfriend, girlfriend, sister, bro, whatever it is you want to be the very best at, you want to be able to perform the very best at, and we have those answers for you. And that's what TKO Vitality is all about. So I wanted to say those things and just get everybody a little bit excited and interested in what we're doing. And then I'll talk a little bit about what we do on the TCO Vitality platform. So as I mentioned a minute ago, you're going to have an opportunity to book a call, get some labs, and talk to a doctor. But the most important question is, what are you trying to do? What are your goals? When was the last time, and I challenge this to the folks watching right now and the folks that will see this, when was the last time you actually had blood work done, not because you had a test or a surgery or when was the last time you ran labs, pulled a male or female hormone panel, a comp panel, a CBC panel, a metabolic panel, a cardio panel, pulled everything you needed to do, and then had a qualified, competent, and doctor that's trained in this space look at it and tell you, oh, hey, Mr. Smith, this is what we need to do. These are your goals. What would you like to do here? How would you like to address it? When was the last time that happened? And what I found out overwhelmingly from the folks I've talked to, the majority, it's been 20 years plus since they had that done. And again, what I talk about, you don't get this healthcare done until you're sick. It's completely opposite. Why don't we take a look at things first and see where you're at so you don't get sick, right? Does that make sense? So that's what this is all about, guys. It's about making America healthy again, making kids healthy again, getting people that freedom back to feel good about yourself. Because as the great Deion Sanders always says, right? If you feel good, you play good. If you play good, they pay you good, baby, right? So it's all about how you feel. And if you're out there feeling insecure, if you're a dad, and you're afraid to take your shirt off at the pool or the beach, I'll tell you this right now. The dad bod is optional, 100%. And for the same amount of money that you're spending at Starbucks and In-N-Out, if you go out 1 or 2 nights and have drinks with the boys or with the girls, add that up. You know what? And if you were to take that and put that towards something else that was going to directly impact your health and wellness and optimize your vitality, I think you do it if you had the resources and if you had the direction. And that's what we're providing at TCO Vitality. So as we get into this podcast, and I'm going to be bringing on guests in this space, I'm going to be bringing on people that have been a part of TCO Vitality, both in actual, running it with me, and folks that have had amazing transformations and testimonials. And you're going to be able to hear right from them that this isn't a gimmick. There's no hidden fees. There's no membership costs. It's just straight finding a customized tailor package for you, getting you on it and getting you results. And that's what I'm so excited about today. So I do want to introduce a friend. For those of you that have been around me the last few years, I'd say the last 5 years, you will notice this friendly face here, Miss Andrea, right? Andrea helped me with my campaign for governor. She didn't just help, she ran it. She did a bang up job. And so naturally, if I'm going to do something crazy again, that's going to be exciting and require, amounts of energy and great feats and great tasks, I'm going to call on the amazing Andrea. So Andrea is on board to help me with marketing, operations, social media, just keeping me sane and adding, the value that she brings. So I'm so excited to have her back. And again, one thing I'll say that Sly did bring up, he said to me, Joey, I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. And so one of the things I will be bringing to you guys on this podcast are other folks who walk the walk. There's no talking here. This is about doing. It's about doing the things in life and for yourself and for your family that are going to make you perform your best. That's really what it is. Because what we've learned and what we've experienced with the folks that have been on this platform now, we have been working with folks now since the beginning of the new year. So we're almost 6 months in. Things are going excellent. The results are incredible. But what I'm getting at is that I'm going to make sure I'm bringing folks on here and bringing folks to you that have the same mindset, that are in this same space, doing whatever they're doing, but also making sure that the folks that come on here believe what we believe, that also are on the same page, so to speak, right? They're not just, pushing something because it's making them money. They are all in 100% a part of this program and want to see the results that I'm talking about with you here today. So,
and everyone at TKO walks the walk. You know what I mean? Like they do it. Like we have Amy, who's lost 111 pounds doing GLP-1 therapies. We have Ryan, your friend. I mean, the entire team believes in this, and we're all Maha, and we just want to help people. And the clients we have, they don't leave. They love it. They want more. They thank us every day because I really feel like this is the best space to be in, because we're saving lives through science, through the peptides and through the GLP-1 and through the TRT therapy. Everyone at TKO uses it, loves it, and has changed their lives with it.
Yeah, guys, and I'll just say this, it doesn't have to be so complicated. And I know there's ChatGPT out there and there's Grok and you can find anything. But I think the thing that separates us as a company that we're doing is our patient care representatives. So many of these other places you're going to see on Instagram and Facebook and social media are going to sign you up, send you your meds, and that's it. There's no follow-up. There's no someone that you can call. I mean, you can literally call our offices, within reasonable hours, let's say 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and say, hey, Ryan, hey, Amy, how do I do this? How do I do that? I just got this. Not only are there videos for you and all the information you can need, but there's people right there to walk you through it every step of the way, to check your results, to adjust your dosage, to make sure that you're getting everything you want and you deserve from this platform and from this program. So that's going to be some of the stuff we talk about in time over this. But more than anything, it's just going to be a program and a platform that brings you a ton of information. Some stuff you'll really love. Other things will be like, wow, I didn't know that. But just know this. We are committed to giving you information that's going to help you be the very best in whatever you're doing, and make it easy, make it simple, and connect you with the resources to live your best life. So that's what this is all about. And I know Andrea I know we talked about, you're going to fire some of the questions people have been asking me. And
Yep.
We've done a couple of these, and we've had, questions sent into both the TKO platforms, our different, social media platforms. So we thought we'd do a little Q&A, answer some stuff for you today, and give you some further exposure to what exactly TKO is all about and how it can help you transform your life.
So, a lot of people ask you talk about being a professional athlete and how when you retire, your testosterone will drop. I think a lot of people don't realize that. I want people to understand that you can just be a regular person like me, not a professional athlete, and still need TRT therapy and still need things just because our hormones and our environment aren't impacted. But athletes and people who've just been going hard their whole lives, they will hit a wall. Can you talk about what happened to you and how TRT changed your life?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, what Andrea just said is probably so important, and what people have to understand is that for anyone out there that's ever pushed it to the max, my veterans, law enforcement, fire, people that work crazy jobs and work out, because of the toxins in our food, the chemicals in our food, and what's in our water, estrogen, and tons of the birth control that doesn't get filtered out. This is a scary statistic. The average young adult today has the testosterone levels of a 68-year-old man. Let's say that one more time. For those of you just joining, or those of you that haven't been around me before, understand what I just said. The average young person, and guys, we've tested folks 30 years old down to 20, 25 years old, their testosterone is in the tank. We're talking 200s and 300s of kids that are 27, 28, 29 years old. Their levels should be 700, 800, 900 plus, right? Why is that? Well, you're hearing it. You're seeing online. You guys see all the stuff going on. They can't filter a lot of the stuff out of the water. So you've got massive amounts of estrogen in your water, right? And what does estrogen do, right? Lowers your testosterone levels, right? So when you start, and increases your estrogen, right? So what you're starting to see is a generation of young folks that don't have the vibrancy, the vitality they should have and need to succeed, right? Right. We joke about this stuff, and I'm going to offend some people here. I don't care. Soy boys, right? We talk about soy boys. That's not just a gimmick. That's not just me being mean. We're talking about people, young men, that have levels of testosterone that are a third of what they should be, right? So the vitality, the stuff that you would experience as a young man is missing, right? Sedentary lifestyle, right? Not getting to the gym, not playing sports, playing on those phones all day. It is having a major impact on the overall wellness of people's lives. So if you've run hard throughout your life in any of the occupations I've mentioned or haven't mentioned, if you've just run hard, you should absolutely be getting your blood work done and addressing these things. And listen, whether you use my platform or me or not, maybe you come on here, you watch Joey Gilbert, you think that guy's a jerk. I don't like him. I don't like his politics. Great. Get your blood work done. Go see somebody. Get your levels checked. Optimize your levels. You'll feel better. You're welcome. Right? That's my public service announcement. So now, what Andrea says. So I finished boxing, right? And I went hard, guys. I went 1996 to 2011, killing myself, every training camp I could get to, USO tours, then became a dad, opened a law firm. And when I went and got my testosterone checked, I was under 200, like 180 something, right? And what do? Now you go to any normal doctor, they're going to say, oh, you're fine. That's not bad. And here's the other misnomer here all the time. You don't want to start taking anything because then you'll have to take testosterone for the rest of your life. Well, you know what? I brush my teeth every day. All right. I drink water every day. Every day I stand at my little supplement table and take my supplements. So if I'm putting things that my body needs in every day, why wouldn't I want to do the same with a hormone or a peptide or a vitamin? Makes sense, right? So for those of you out there that right away say, oh, and let me tell you something, some of the women that, I don't know, try and control their husbands or boyfriend, you're not taking that. You don't need that. Okay. You know what he needs, right? You don't know what you feel like until you make an adjustment. So you might think, oh, my doctor says I'm fine. I'm 200 and my wife doesn't want me to do anything because she doesn't like it. She doesn't know anything about it, but she just doesn't like it, right? I would caution you and say, listen, it's like a toothache. Actually, one of my partners in this company, Brett Summers, hit the nail on the head when we first started this. And again, Brett will also tell you that it was my encouragement that got him to go get, checked and get some testosterone replacement therapy. But he said something that was so important. He said, you know what? It's like a toothache. You get a toothache and you just kind of deal with it. You chew around it, you swish, you do whatever you need to do to avoid that pain. And then finally you get it fixed and you're like, oh my God, I cannot believe I dealt with that for 2 months or 3 months or 6 months. That's what I realized was with testosterone. And again, despite the trouble I got in with the Athletic Commission, I didn't know back in the day, Dana White knows all about this, there was something called temporary use exemptions. You could go get a use exemption if your testosterone was low, so that if you showed up and got a test done and they saw that there was synthetic testosterone in your system or whatever, but you weren't over a certain level, you were fine. I didn't know that. So I'm taking every product under the sun, trying to get my testosterone up, and I screw up, right? It is what it is. Accept responsibility. It happened. Not proud of it, but it was a huge learning lesson. Fast forward 2011, I go get my testosterone checked. I'm below 200. Now, I the first 3 doctors I talked to said, you're fine. You're only, you're 30 something years old. You don't want to do that. You don't want to put in. So I tried a couple of things that we offer here at TKO. I tried some HCG. I tried some enclomiphene. That helps your body produce testosterone naturally. I didn't move but 80 points. So now I'm a whopping 220, 250. And again, my doctors say, you're fine. You don't need it. Now, I've already had my Stallone experience. I don't buy this crap. I start doing some research and realize, you know what? I might have to use testosterone the rest of my life. I don't care. I want to feel great. I want to perform great. I want to have high energy. I want to have patience with my daughter. I want to be ready to rock and roll when she asks me to do something, or after work. I don't want to just go home and plop myself on the couch and grab something to eat and be lazy and tired. No, there are answers for that, right? So what did I do? I did some research. And at the time I researched pellets, and I found that, for some people you can have, they actually insert pellets into your waistline that dissolve over time, can last 4 to 6 months. I thought it was incredible. Since that time, I have now moved to where I'm using, a couple different, I'd say, protocols. I do get pellets, but to supplement, I do what many guys do now. I used to do 1 shot a week. Now I break that dose up into 2 shots a week. And I'll just tell you this. I went from, I can't even really explain it because I just started a law firm. I'm going a million miles an hour, but I was feeling myself at the end of the day being fatigued, being tired, not having that energy, not having that vitality, not feeling like I wanted to, do the things I used to want to do, right? And I'm sitting to myself, God, I'm this age. I'm already feeling burnt out. I'm getting home at 5 o'clock and I'm plopping on the couch, eating something, not moving for 2 or 3 hours, get up, maybe eat a little something more. And hey, dads, hey, moms and dads out there, how does this sound? Does this sound familiar? You're busting your ass all day. You mean to eat lunch 3 or 4 times. You miss it. You swear you're going to get something in, 3 or 4. Daughter calls. You're running, making an extra trip to school. You got to, pick someone up from practice. You got to run to the store. You don't eat now. Finally, you're home, 7 o'clock. You're exhausted. You eat that one big meal of the day, spike your insulin, spike your blood sugar. So you're hungry again in a few hours, eat again, then go to bed. Don't sleep right because you shouldn't have eaten so late. Okay. You're not losing any weight. Sound familiar to the folks out there, right? So again, because of that, I said, there's got to be a better way. And as soon as I started this testosterone replacement therapy, I knew immediately, wow, this is amazing. And I credit it for everything. I credit it for my vibrancy now, how I'm 49 years old. I don't feel like I look 49. I don't act 49. I don't perform like I'm 49. But I'll tell you right now, if my testosterone was in the toilet, I wasn't regulating my other hormones, optimizing myself, I wouldn't be where I am today. No way. There's no way I would be able to operate at the level I operate if I wasn't addressing all the issues that become prevalent as you get older. And I'll just say that again. The dad bod, the mom bod is optional, 100%. Okay, so all I could say is to Andrea's question to finish that, I didn't know much. And there wasn't the kind of information out there like there is today. There definitely wasn't Instagram. There wasn't Facebook. You weren't being bombarded on social media with different options to go try. You had to hear something from a friend. You went and talked to your doctor. They said no. And to this day, even I have friends. I'm not going to drop any names, HIPAA, but I'm not going to drop any names or medical information. I have friends that we have tested that got their testosterone back, that came back under 300. They went to their doctor and he said, you're fine. These people are 45, 50 years old, and their doctor told them nothing to worry about. Your testosterone's 250 or 300, right? And until you start learning a little bit about this, you don't even realize how insane that is. Because as I mentioned with the toothache, as soon as I had it fixed or enhanced it, I couldn't believe. I felt like I was 25 again. And I encourage anyone watching this program live or, that ends up seeing this at a later time, if you do nothing else, if you take nothing else away from this little, podcast, go get your blood work done, bring it to your doctor and see what he says, but don't stop there. You all know about ChatGPT, right? You all know about Grok. You can take your test results. And again, I don't care if you're on MyChart or LabCorp or Quest. I just did it. You can download it. You can copy and paste the entire deal and feed it through AI and get a better, analysis than you will get from your bonehead doctor. And again, I will be very direct with you guys. You see Dana White talk about this all the time. Doctors are morons. Do not trust these people with your health and wellness, with your vitality. Now, listen, you break an arm, you break a bone, go see the doctor. You need something repaired surgically. You have a real issue going in. But when it's addressing health and wellness, unless you're dealing with an anti-aging, regeneration, hormone specialist, these guys are idiots. All right. They're absolutely not geared to make sure that you are optimizing your wellness. I do not trust them. I do not, for a second, would I put my my trust and my health and wellness in the care of our current medical system. But with a little hard work and with platforms like this, and with RFK talking about making stem cells and peptides and hormone replacement available to all Americans, we're getting somewhere. We're definitely getting somewhere. So to answer that question, like Andrea said, I didn't know. I did some of my own research. I had some pretty incredible mentors with Sylvester Stallone, Dr. Carlos Ulis. If you look him up in Santa Monica, he was the United States physician for the Lillehammer Games. Dr. Gary London. I had some amazing individuals early on that said, absolutely not. You shouldn't be there. Optimize, go inside the bubble of a LabCorp test. It'll have a range, 200 to 900. I'm not trying to be in the low. Do I look like a low range, low level guy to you? Do I look like someone that's going to be okay being at the bare minimum, the very bottom where you're okay? hey, you're there. You're within the range. No, 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 no. You just told me it's 200 to 950. I want to be 1,000. You understand where I'm at? I hope that gives you guys a little idea. We want to be in the optimized level. If there's a circle here, we don't want to be on this half. We want to be over here or out of that bubble a little bit, right? Right? Am I right? I mean, I think folks that are watching this podcast or that pay attention to me, we all kind of are in the same sphere. We want to perform well. We want to live well. We want to do all we can to make sure that our two most precious commodities outside of our children, our health and our time, are respected and maximized, right? 100%. So that would be my answer for the testosterone replacement therapy. I like to call it enhancement, because for some of you out there, if you get your labs done and you're lower level, we might be able to bump you up 100, 200 points with some other things that aren't replacing, okay, the testosterone. You might not need synthetic hormones in you. We might be able to make some adjustments. But if not, then listen, let me tell you something right now. And again, I think this is pretty funny. Just bear with me here. I'm going to have to say this. But you got people out there that got the Fauci ouchie, right? If you're listening and you got a Fauci ouchie and you're even having second thoughts about getting some blood work and optimizing your hormones, please log off now, because I have no time for you. I don't need you interacting with me, because that would just tell me that you lack critical thinking skills and analytical reasoning skills. Because if you're going to go take an unproven, untested, experimental, treatment option, medical modality, but you're not going to go and look at hundreds of years of science and the fact that testosterone is probably the most important hormone for men and women, by the way. You probably don't know that. Progesterone and estrogen, of course, but you'd be shocked to learn, my ladies out there listening, Okay, we're back. Well, for those of you that just experienced that, so let me just give you a quick little explanation what happened there. So because I was starting this podcast again, I asked my IT guy to make sure that I had the fastest internet at the house, because since we did our Gloves Off podcast, there were some changes made. So Spectrum was updating my internet. And of course, they chose right now during my first Championship Formula podcast to reboot. So for anybody that I lost, I'm sorry. Welcome back. This is the Championship Formula brought to you by TKO Vitality. I don't even know what I was saying when it got cut, but what I was, the general consensus was that, look, for you knuckleheads out there that are scared or apprehensive or whatever the word is about heading down this road, optimizing your hormones, getting your blood work done, please stop. Please, come forward. It's 2025. This is what we do. We're going to use science. And I was taking a little cheap shot, little elbow to those of you out there, because I know with 105 people on here, there's definitely a few of you that got the Fauci ouchie. And so if you got the Fauci ouchie and you're willing to stick that garbage in your body, then you should have no issue getting some blood work done and optimizing your hormones, which will help you, not kill you. All right. Maim and harm you is the proper word. So Andrea, I think we answered our first question.
Yes.
And I hope people are satisfied with that answer. But again, I'll say one more time for those of you just joining us, this is the Championship Formula podcast with Joey Gilbert. I'm obviously the host. I've got the beautiful Andrea here with me, and it is powered by TKO Vitality, which stands for To Know Oneself Health and Wellness, which is a telemed platform nationwide, almost all 50 states. We're in 47 states, adding a few, that anybody can jump on and book a call with a doctor, get their lab work done, and have access to hormones, peptides for weight loss, and even some peptides for performance, which we will be discussing at length in the future. But Andrea, we're already running 52 minutes.
Yep.
Let's pick a couple more of those questions that you think are the best. We'll answer them. But again, guys, you already know I can do this all night. I remember Facebook Lives during the pandemic that went hours. And again, that's how we built the audience.
You'd always say, "Oh, I've got 20 minutes," and like an hour 20 later, you're just he's
sweating.
Italian. He's Italian. He's at a 4, and he's going.
I get a little excited. And for those of you out there, see, Gilbert's not Italian. I'm adopted by my stepfather. My real last name would have been Shermani. So Giuseppe Salvatore Caramonte. Is that Italian enough for you? Huh? So if I get a little excited, that's what it is.
So you built a bridge a little bit about the peptides. There are some peptides that TKO works with. We have NAD+, we have Sermorelin, and we have nicotine. No, we don't have nicotine.
Nicotine. Sorry to bother you.
Joey and I have addictions.
We have addiction issues. And hey, make sure you book him right now. Let's make sure we reach out to Dr. Brian Artis and bring him in about the nicotine patch. I don't know if he's going to like some of the weight loss stuff, but we won't bring that up.
I chew on Dr. Artis's prescribed gum. I don't know how he feels about your little pouches there. Your
you know what? Guys, let me give this selfless plug to Tucker Carlson.
Tucker,
so you guys have seen this out there. We all got these Zyn, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm 5 years late to the party because I found out about Zyn from my daughter's friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And they were like, bro, you missed it. And then I happen to like it. I think it works well. I've noticed all kinds of positive benefits from nicotine. I'm not.
Did you go to the Zyn booth at the rodeo? There's the Zyn. Hell yeah, they're gonna have Zyns.
But guys, ALP. This is Tucker Carlson came out with his own 9 milligrams, all kinds of great flavors. There's a story behind that. We won't talk about it today. Why Tucker started his own. I think it's great, and I enjoy the hell out of them. So
yeah, Tucker Carlson's awesome. Alp. So you started talking about peptides, and that was kind of where I was going to go next. So you have peptides. They enhance your TRT regimen. And then what benefits have you personally experienced that we share with our clients? So like everyone at TKO is into all this stuff. Amy talks about NAD+. We all talk about Sermorelin. I think Aiden even started doing Sermorelin, and he's like, I'm sleeping like a baby. So,
guys, that's a great question. And you know what? so many people don't know what peptides are. And I'm going to give you, listen, I'm not a doctor. I'm not, cosplaying a doctor. At times during the pandemic, I thought I was one. And I'll just say this though,
well, you were smarter than all the doctors out there.
you know what? Anybody that could read and do a little research was smarter than these morons. But it's very simple. Peptides are short chain, amino acids. They act as messengers. They carry signals and information to your body, to your cells. And just like anything else, like we've been talking about, you get low testosterone, low vitamin D, low vitamin B, low iron. You pick it, right? You can get deficient. Your body, the best way to explain is your body produces less. As you get older, shocking, your body produces less of a lot of stuff. Growth hormone, progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, vitamin, D, so again, that's why people supplement. That's why there's vitamin companies. So again, now peptides aren't new. And I got to say this, I got to give a shout out to the man who started me in this. Another guy we got to book for the podcast, Dr. Mark Sherwood.
Yep. Okay. I just talked to him earlier today.
In Oklahoma. So let's go back 2021. I meet this guy in Oklahoma, the first place I speak, and he's talking about peptides. And I'm thinking like, what is this guy even talking about? He says, oh, it's cutting edge. You're going to learn about it. I've been using them for years. And him and his wife have a integrated, a very forward thinking practice, right? I don't dare say progressive anymore because that, indicates something far different, but they're very forward thinking, health driven. And so they were using peptides. So I first got turned on to peptides in 2021, started using them with incredible results. And all I can say, folks, is, for example, I want to first talk about a weight loss peptide. You guys are hearing it everywhere. GLP-1s, all right, which is an agonist that helps with reducing hunger and cravings, right? We'll say it quiets the food noise. But then you bring in a tirzepatide, which is a double agonist. It's a GLP-1 and a GIC, right? And that addresses glucose and insulin, right? And then there's a third one that's out now. It's still in trials. It's called retatrutide, which is the big three. You've got your GLP-1, your GIP, and then you've got your glucagon, which is like the holy grail. So you'll learn more about this. Just track with me for a second. These are things your body naturally produces. And so as you get older, you produce less of it, right? So the most exciting thing about some of these weight loss peptides, and I want to caution everybody, not every company is the same. I'm not a big proponent of you get your dose sent to you, you put it in once a week. There's no coaching, there's no follow-up, there's no help, there's no adjusting the dose, there's no titrating it down. Because some people, I think 100%, what some of these companies are giving you is too much, too soon, don't need it. I think everybody it should be a, case-by-case basis, not a one-size-fits-all. But I'll tell you guys this, for those of you out there, my ladies, all right, that have been working to get some of this weight from over the years, haven't been able to get it, hips, butt, top of your back, can't get rid of it. I'll tell you something right now, tirzepatide, some of these weight loss, they quiet the food noise. It's gone. The cravings are gone. The food, the anger, the irritation that you would experience. Because what women are notorious for this, they just don't eat, right? They're trying to lose weight. They don't eat. They think not eating it. No, now you kick your body into a starvation mode. So it's holding on to everything. Tirzepatide and some of these GLP-1, more advanced things that have the double and triple agonists are great. And I'll tell you why. When that food noise is gone, when you no longer crave that stuff, and guys, dads that I'm talking to and moms, remember when I said you get home 5 o'clock starving, you could just eat someone's face off, right? I learned this as a father. Don't ever shop when you're hungry. You will increase that grocery bill about $150, $200. Don't ever shop if you're hungry. Get a protein shake. Stop somewhere and eat something. Go into Starbucks and get one of those egg things before you go shop if you're hungry. And you all know what I'm talking about. You're probably laughing because you bought so much crap at the store that day and you got home and you're like, what the hell am I doing? What am I getting? First of all, I can't even eat all this. What was I thinking? But it really does. It quiets the food noise. You're not starving. You won't overeat. And matter of fact, you will eat a portion that's small, and then I snack on that same meal for the next 4 or 5 hours. I'm eating 3 or 4 meals a day, smaller in size, dense in protein, dense in real wholesome food, and you don't even crave it anymore. And what's so important about this, guys, did you know that the food companies put additives in our food that make us not feel not feel full? Let me say that one more time. So you have peptides produced by your body that tell your body, hey, I'm full. Hey, I don't need any more. Hey, we're good. But the companies are designing designer chemicals that shut off those receptors. That's why you eat a whole bag of chips. That's why there's super size. That's why there's big gulps. That's why in the United States, you go get a drink in Europe, it's this size. It's an 8 to 12. United States, we have those cups, right? These cups. And again, everything is out of control here because our portion size is no longer a normal portion size. And with these GLP-1s, these GIPs, these glucagon agonists, and again, you can all look all this up, and we're going to have all this information in the show notes afterwards. Maybe not this first episode, but whenever we discuss stuff like this, we will make that available for you. But you can jump on TKO Vitality and check it out. And there's other sites, preferred peptide sites that we'll talk about, that we'll get into. But
we have a blog. Our blog is
Miss Andrea puts out the blog.
Yeah.
I just want to tell folks, this stuff is not out of your touch. In fact, you can book a call. Andrea brought it NAD Plus for energy, Samorelin for lean muscle. What's Samorelin? For those of you, it's a growth hormone secretolog. It helps your body produce more growth hormone. So for my guys out there, lean muscle, energy, sleep, cognition, in your brain, and even sexual function, all helped by these things. And they are naturally produced by your body, right? So adding something in to help stimulate that and produce more is a good thing. So I would encourage anybody out there that is looking to optimize their health and wellness to get involved with this program. At the very least, read our information, check it out, get your blood work, speak to one of our doctors, and let's get you started. Let's get you back in the fight. Right, Miss Andrea?
Yes, sir. That was perfect.
So, did I answer the question?
Yes, sir. Do you want another question?
No, I do want to say this to guys, though, and you can stay on for this one, is that, look, guys, it's not a one size fits all. For those of you out there that have low testosterone, some stubborn weight you can't get rid of, energy issues, let's address this holistically by getting you back to optimized levels. Then let's take a look at things. And you know what you'll see? We see this all the time. People are pulling off their prescription meds. People are getting away from the things that they should be on. And that's what every doctor's goal should be, to get you off all the crap and on natural, healthy healing protocols that deliver you the vibrancy and the optimized wellness you're looking for. So I just want to say that it's not just, we're going to sling you some testosterone. No, we're going to make sure your testosterone levels are optimized. Then what else are you trying to achieve? You want to get that stubborn weight off? You want to have improved sleep? You want to have some help with that lean muscle? Let's get you dialed in. Correct?
And it's lifestyle. I mean, it's a whole culture at TKO Vitality. So if you do the work, you'll see the progress even more. We want you to live a healthier lifestyle. So we talk about diet, nutrition, exercise, everything, sleep, stress, cortisol levels, everything that you can do. You can use these great holistic treatments that we have, and our team will walk you through it, but they help kind of kickstart you and then help you get you through the finish line, like get you there. And so I think a lot of people get confused because you're saying like sling testosterone. It's more holistic and it's more natural, I think, than people realize. A lot of these peptides and these testosterone enhancement therapies.
100%. Guys, the one other thing I want to say that's very important to me as someone that's the founder here and that's driving this is I truly want to see you get more active. Okay. My hope for you is that by optimizing your hormone levels, by removing some of this weight, you'll be more prone to go back outside, to play with your kids, to go to the beach, to take that camping trip finally, to get out with the golf with the boys, all right? To join the ladies out on a trip, go hiking with the girls, go grab, go to the beach and have some fun. So I am not about the quick fix. I am not about put you on something, because let me tell you something. One of the things you're seeing across the country about some of these weight loss shots is that folks are losing as much muscle as they are fat. And that's an important thing to consider. I don't want anybody just taking this and sitting on their butt. I want you to, and again, like, I'm not going to get up and do it today, but I can show you 5 exercises. My ladies know this: standing static squats, lunges front and back, Cossack squat, which is to each side. I want to see you in a plank position, doing some push-ups if you can. If not, hold the plank. And I want you to either, if you can't get to a gym, to do some lat pull downs. If you're at the park with your kids, just hang off those monkey bars, and then eventually try to pull up. And in time, you will be able to pump out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reps. My goal is to get everybody doing sets of 25 push-ups and sets of 10 pull-ups and sets of 50 squats. You can do that in less than 15 minutes. And if you can do that for me 3 and 4 days a week, you will get results that you never even dreamed of. It's all about consistency. There's nothing, I don't need you to go to the gym and put in a 2-hour workout. I need you to get up 5 days a week at some point in time during that day and do the five exercises I just talked about. And we're going to have so much more for you guys on this. And we're going to break it down. I like to call it the executive workout for guys. And for my guys out there, I'm going to walk you through. You're going to be able to join my videographer. We're going to go into the gym, and I'm going to walk you through a simple workout that takes no more than 20, 25 minutes. But it's not just the workout. It's the movement prep you're going to do before. A little foam rolling, a little stretching, a little jump rope. Maybe go up and walk on the treadmill frontwards and backwards for 5 minutes each direction, and then go down and do your workout. And then when you're done with your 20, 25-minute workout, we're going to do that same protocol. We're going to do a little foam rolling. We're going to do a little stretching, and we're going to walk on that treadmill at an incline, about an 8% grade, no more than 3.0 to 3.5, frontwards and backwards. Then we're going to be done. You can do this in 30 to 45 minutes, 3 or 4 days a week. It will unlock your potential, your vitality, and you will be back to feeling the way you felt when you were in your 20s and 30s. 100%. I absolutely promise you, you will have those results if you follow the protocols we talk about and outline for you here with TKO Vitality.
And our team checks in all the time, holds your hand, walks you through it. And a lot of our clients talk about the spark. They got their spark back. And they talk about it being like the fountain of youth. But it starts with these treatments helping you get there. Absolutely, guys. You know, again, we're not leaving anybody high and dry. I'm not just trying to sign you up and then let you go. This is my way, my platform to make America healthy again. This is how I'm going to contribute personally and what I want to do, and why I wrapped in what I think are some of the very best humans I know to help me do this. You'll meet the whole team. There's going to be some podcasts we do where we bring on different members of the team so you can hear from them what their exact, job title is, what they do in the company. And again, we're about 10 and growing, and it's exciting and it's fun because we're absolutely helping people feel better, look better, and perform better. And for me, I could ask for nothing more than to be, take a position in your life that helps you achieve, your greatest health and your greatest vitality. It's something I hope you'll trust me with, and I hope that you'll take a chance and experiment and experience what we have to offer. Amen. I think that's a great sign-off point. When are we going to be back, boss? So listen, we're going to start doing this once a week. Again, we're going to also pre-record some shows that we can get out, because again, one thing we're learning is people want content. They want to know more about this. So don't worry. It's not going to be just me talking about peptides. I'm going to bring my father on. I'm going to bring other doctors. My father's a doctor, trauma surgeon, was board certified at one time. I don't know what he's doing now, but we're going to bring on people, my sister. We're going to bring on professionals in this area that you guys can ask questions to, and that you can put questions in the message boards and on the chat. We're going to answer those questions. If we can't answer it during the show, we'll get it answered afterwards. We'll always post it. But all I can say is, please, pay attention, set your notifications, and check in with this program. Read our blog, download our information. And let me tell you something right now. You give me the opportunity, and I'll get you back in fighting shape. I'll get you back feeling your best. And again, it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to launch this. And again, this is the Championship Formula with Joey Gilbert, brought to you and powered by TKO Vitality, which stands for To Know Oneself. And trust me, you're going to want to know oneself and get yourself dialed in to feel the best you've ever felt, and we can help you here. So we'll just follow TKO on socials too. We're on Joey's platform right now, but TKO Vitality on all socials as well. Absolutely. So guys, listen, let me just sign off by saying I appreciate you all being here. Thank you for joining me on this introductory podcast.
There's so much more to come. Just stay tuned. And again, if you do one thing, okay, if you don't do one thing, don't eat bad shit. But if you do one thing, book a call, get your labs. Let's take a look at your holistic picture. Let's address it for you. And if you decide, you know what, I don't want to do it, great. But let's get that snapshot. Let's know oneself. Let's get a little deep dive into what makes you you and why you're performing or not performing the way you are. And let's make those adjustments. So again, I'm signing off. This is the Championship Forum with Joey Gilbert. This is the TKO Vitality podcast. We'll see you next time. God bless and stay in the fight.